environmental assessment, which government now has come out very strongly through its agencies, including us resident city commissioners.
Close to 800 homesteads have been affected by this specific flooding, and as I'm speaking right now by press time, it's already raining, and there is no hope that maybe the situation will become calm anytime soon. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Mbale district.
Yes, the floods have claimed over 20 lives and destroyed property worth millions of shillings in Mbale district just a few days after a conservation warning by His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. While at the Interministerial Conference in Kampala last week, President Museveni echoed the need for efforts to fight climate change-related problems.
On Sunday, several people were reported dead following the Saturday night heavy downpour that washed away several structures and property, also killing over 10 in Mbale. The floods are said to have been caused after 3 rivers of Nabuyonga, Namatsi and Namatala burst their banks and submerged, causing an overflow. In his last address to the country last week, President Yoweri Museveni warned against the likely effects of human action on the environment.
Our people, the majority of whom are already vulnerable and have limited capacity to adapt to the impacts of climate change, have continued to experience increased frequency and intensity of floods, droughts, and landslides.
His message on climate change and environment was re-echoed in the 3-day Interministerial Conference on Mitigation, Environment and Climate Change in Munyonyo. While officiating at the Interministerial Conference, President Museveni called for collaborative efforts in averting effects of climate change and other natural disasters.
For African countries, climate change adaptation is key in addressing the impacts of climate change at all levels, including addressing loss and damage and increasing the resilience of communities, infrastructure, and ecosystems.
Just a few days after his message on conservation and climate change, the Elgon region experiences a catastrophe that left many dead and property worth millions destroyed. Areas around Mount Elgon have experienced several effects of climate change and are still prone to experiencing the worst if conservation is prolonged. In 2010, over 3,000 people were displaced and hundreds killed in the heavy landslides that hit the districts of Bududa. In 2012, a similar incident happened, and later in 2017 in Sironko district.
In 2010, we had to relocate and resettle about 3,000 people from Mount Elgon sub-region, Bududa district in eastern Uganda, Kiryandongo district in western Uganda, after their home villages were devastated by the landslides on March 1st, 2010.
The National Policy of Disaster Preparedness and Management 2012, however, lists natural disasters in Uganda as drought, famine, food insecurity, floods, landslides, mudslides and earthquakes, environmental degradation, among others. The 3-day Regional Interministerial Conference on Mitigation, Environment and Climate Change hosted in Uganda last week seeks to raise awareness about the impacts of climate change and environmental degradation on human mobility. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
The Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbale, has tasked the Special Investigations Branch Bureau in charge of investigation of cases in the court-martial to speed up inquiries into matters for quick access to justice. He was at the ceremony where retired General Andrew Guti was handing over office to Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe, the new chairman of the General Court-Martial in Machinde.
Retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti has handed over instruments of office to successor Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe, the new chairman, General Court-Martial. The ceremony took place at the General Court-Martial in Machinde. Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe promised to serve the people of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief.
I, however, undertake to put out the best within my ability and live to the aspirations of the appointing authority. To the winning technical team of the General Court Martial, I know as a fact that you are the main effort in the execution of this task. I therefore implore you for enhanced teamwork, mindful that we deliver as a team.
The Chief of Defence Forces, General Mbale, officiated the handover ceremony. It tasked the Special Investigations Branch Bureau to carry out speedy inquiries to address case backlog.
Investigative matters you mentioned about, so SID, pull up your socks, and improving the terms and conditions of service. And this is generally being taken care of. And also we must constantly adjust our methods of work to suit the legitimate needs of the force that we serve, the UPDF and our country, Uganda.
General Mbale also highlighted on the key points to be tackled by the incoming chairman.
We recognize that in order to strengthen the rule of law, to protect human rights and freedoms, and to enhance and maintain public confidence in our military justice system, it is imperative for us, both at an individual and an institutional level, to respect and honor the judicial office as per mandate of courts under Article 126, brackets 1 of the Constitution of Uganda.
Brigadier Felix Kulaije, UPDF spokesperson, hailed retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti for his tenure.
In his term, he has handled, of course, high-profile cases that many of them, some of you know. There is the challenge of the interference of the civil courts, that normally some suspects come with the court decisions or orders halting trials.
During the handover ceremony, retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti was appreciated for service as Chairman, General Court Martial, for 6 years. Over 300 pending cases awaits Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe. Among these include the one for the former AIGP General Kale Kayihura, former Commander of Police Investigations Operations Unit Nixon Yagasire, the 32 National Unity Platform supporters, and the prominent court bailiff Moses Chirunda. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The Uganda Coalition Forces of Change, a rebel group, has intensified operations against the attacks on government officials and security personnel. Police have revealed that this group dropped threatening leaflets in districts of Mityana and Chiboga for near future attacks. This rebel group was pronounced by police toward the end of the last year, 2021.
The pronouncement of the Coalition Forces of Change in Uganda by police was manifested by the increasing attacks on security personnel and gun theft of the time.
You are aware that the persons who claim to be authors of these anonymous letters claim to be having an attachment to the self-styled anti-government rebel group, the Uganda National Coalition for Change. These are not new threats. For those that can remember, this is a rebel outfit that was dismantled in January 2022.
By the beginning of this year, this group had stolen 5 guns from police officers while killing some. In that time, over 20 people were arrested in connection to rebel activities.
Of the attackers. Yes, they were after guns, the ones who attacked our traffic officers in Luwero. They took the 2 guns, but we are still building up on the leads surrounding the theft of those 2 guns and the murder of our officers.
In the night of 31st of July 2022, this group dropped threatening leaflets targeting government officials and security.
But we're on alert. You're aware that the persons who claim to be authors of these anonymous letters claim to be having an attachment to the self-styled anti-government rebel group.
In the recurring attacks of police officers while on duty is connected to rebel remnants who want to acquire guns for their
collaborators and ensure that they are held accountable for these acts of impunity.
In the enhancement of officers' safety, police are piloting body camera project so that all officers are manned with these cameras for instant response in case of attack.
The demand for these body cameras is actually very, very high. And it will also help us with our policing operations.
Security has cautioned taxi operators on the emerging habit of faking number plates by robbers in Kampala Metropolitan. These are targeting people moving at night, using ladies in their nude robber tricks.
See this number plate, you may think it is genuine, but it is not a genuine number plate. It is just a sticker that has been planted. You know, you just make it and then you paste it, you stick it on. So you think you are boarding a genuine taxi. So our people who are out there take interest, go behind and check.